All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our CEJA reporting system office hours. Today we'll be covering and walking through but wanted to first share some updates that we have going out with tomorrow night's release, so that you'll then see these on Friday morning. Let's see here. So first, to go over. Okay, we do have an update for, let me go over here. In the system, this may only impact just, a handful of grantees based on their workflow, but for grantees, they're able to, um, sorry, I should be seeing something else here. Maybe we'll circle back to that. Oh, it's in test, not UAT. That's why. Um, maybe. 1 second here. Um, I might hold on that update. I might need to check something with that. One of the other updates, though, that we have is with the, let's see, service finder. No, sorry, the service needs assessment in the dashboard. And let me pull over a couple screenshots here. I think we may have mentioned this last time, but um, we'll have this rolling out with the update tomorrow night. So in the service needs assessment, when items are identified, um, we have, on the progress page, the item and then the cost that's added in. And in some cases, if a service has been provided to meet that item, that's, good over here. But there's been an issue where in the dashboard, those items that have service has been provided were showing up as, needing to be addressed. And so this is just a fix to the dashboard to, indicate if you have the service provided, then it's, not a flag. Another update is we have on the outreach and partners. For the partner section, we have added a export to pull, an Excel file of the partner information that's been added into the system here. Just show that. That was a request that we've included in here. So we have the Excel pulling through, and you can filter it by, project, by navigator, by grantee, and so forth. So we're going to have that coming out. We also set up the returning residents groups in production. So they are available there. In the transition outcome section, let me find a participant here. Let's see. No, actually, I can just pull this over. In the transition outcomes for, the different outcomes that are selected, we have, different questions, yes and no for the radio buttons, but then no/unsure. We're just removing the unsure there so that those questions are either, yes or no. We also did there've been some help request tickets and emails, just with miscellaneous issues for customers. We got those data fixes out. And we have there's a few remaining issues with the plan versus actual that we're hoping to get out tomorrow as well. I know we had the hot fix, I believe last week, which definitely improved the response time of the system, the report loading, and kind of better aligning those numbers. But there's still a handful of things that we're wanting to address in that plan versus actual. So we're hoping to get those updates out tomorrow as well. And I'm just going to check one other thing. I can't do that right now. Looks like they're pushing out an update. There's another update. I might circle back to it, but I might have to check a couple things first. But with those updates, so those are the updates that we're going to have coming out tomorrow night. And then we also wanted to let you know that we are updating the quick start guide. As we've made updates over time, these videos and instructions are needing to be updated. And I've been recording these videos this week. So by the end of the week, we should have this quick start guide updated, which you can access in any of this is just the ClimateWorks partner guide, but for the other guide pages as well, you should see a link to the quick start guide, and they're all directing to this page here. So we should have this updated by the end of the week. Okay, so with that, I am just going to check the chat here. Yes, this is being recorded. Okay, yeah, with that, are there any questions before we walk through intake in the CEJA system? Let's see, when I attempt to access the partner section, it is showing blank or no partners. Last month, we had 118 in the system. Just to make sure, would that be this page, James, that I have pulled up here under Outreach and Partners, the partner tab? Okay. Let me make a note of that to check up on that. So 1 second here. So Goodwill. Seeing partners. Okay.
David, I can test it too while you're going through the other stuff.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Natasha. Yeah, we can. It's 118. All right. So yeah, we'll look into that and we'll get back to you, James. Are there any other questions? All right, well, if there is anything that comes up along the way, you can just add them into the chat. We'll also have Q&A at the end, but we'll go ahead and walk through intake. Let's see here. Close some of these tabs. Okay. Go back to the customer list here. So I'm logged in as a Workforce Hubs grantee. And here's our customer list. And we can get started by selecting add customer, and then we'll just fill in the customer information here. So we'll fill in all the required fields with a red asterisk. And some other information as well. So let's see. Address information. All right, so we've got the address information for inquiry. We're selecting, or sorry, for type, we're selecting inquiry. And then we'll select Richland Council. as our provider. And the way this is set up in tests, this Workforce Foundation is a sub-grantee to Richland Council here. So we'll go ahead and click submit. And then this will pull up our prompt for the application consent. So you can check the box here that you've read the consent to the customer and that they agree. And we'll click save, and then we'll be able to fill out the pre-screening. And in this pre-screening, we have questions. A lot of them are required, as we can see with the red asterisk. If you wanted to leave a note and not, fill out all this information, if you didn't have all this information readily available, you can enter a contact note up here. Yes. So you can enter the comment that you'd like, the input date, and then when we click the add recruitment button, there will be a note down here. And before we just had this notes section at the bottom, but in order for the notes to be saved, you have to fill out everything else. So we wanted to add that feature that we got entered a while back. If at any point the customer does not wish to be contacted, you can check this box here. And then we have the question, do you need any accommodations to complete this pre-screening or application, such as translation services, audiovisual accommodations, etc.? Yes or no. If we select yes, what accommodations are needed, that text box will come through here, and you can enter that into the text box. And so we can see that our information that we've entered for name, phone number, email, date of birth, and down below address, that will have pulled over from the previous window. And we'll just need to fill in the rest of the pre-screening questions here. So how did you hear about this program? Are you interested in working in construction or building trades? Are you interested in working in the clean energy field? If we select yes, then we have this question appear, which of the following clean energy industries are you interested in learning more about? And if we select other clean energy career, we get a text box that we can fill in. Are you interested in applying for an apprenticeship program? Are you willing and able to put in the time required by the program? And then this text here, this is letting them know that if they have any challenges or anything that might make participation in the program, difficult. If they have any barriers that they would keep them from attending, we can let them know that there are funds available to cover those barriers. Got our address information here. And then, have you ever been incarcerated for a felony or misdemeanor? Have you had prior involvement in the criminal legal system? Are you a graduate of foster care or currently in foster care? Are you a displaced energy worker? And do you have other barriers to employment? These are other eligibility questions where we can select yes, no, or prefer not to say. And then we have some demographic questions. What racial or ethnic groups best describe you? Veteran status, and do you have a high school diploma, GED, or HiSED? And below this question, we have our customer pre-screening results. So based on questions that tie into eligibility for the different programs, we can see what we've selected above. And then down below here, we have a table for the different programs to show what which ones these customers might be eligible in. And based on our selections, it looks like we're eligible for all of them. For program, we will select Workforce Hubs, and pre-screening result meets pre-screening requirements and interested in participating. And we just need to enter in the pre-screening date. If we wanted to add a follow-up date or any additional notes, we could enter those here. And then we'll click the button to submit. And the system will let us know that this has been updated, and we just need to confirm the email address here. 26. And then we'll click this search for existing applicants button, and what this will do is to see if there's an existing account in Illinois WorkNet. based on the name, date of birth, and email that we've entered. Um, if there is, then it can sync up. If in some cases, there's customers who have more than one account that they've set up, outside of CEJA with workNet. So you might see a message prompt saying that, there's an account conflict, there's some usernames that the system is looking at, and it will identify those usernames. In that case, you can submit a help request ticket, and we'll do some, account cleanup so you can proceed in the system. And when you do see that, please send what those usernames are. That kind of helps narrow it down, because in some cases there's, names that are, more common than others that have, dozens of accounts when I first look, behind the scenes. So we'll click, and if there's no account conflict, which I think is what we're going to see here, then the system will create an account for them, and this will be the customer's username and password that they can log in to Illinois WorkNet with their account. So we'll click the button to complete the initial application. And this will take us to our application. A lot of the information we've entered in pre-screening will populate over here, as we can see. So we'll just need to fill in the other questions. So do you have a social security number? We have yes, but I don't have my card, or no. If we select yes, we can enter the number and confirm it. And once it is saved, we're only ever going to see the last four social security, or the last four numbers. We're not going to see the full SSN. So say yes, but I don't have my card. And then next we enter our phone number, and then we need to select primary phone type. If there's an alternate phone, we can enter that here. And for date of birth, we got that pulled over. What sex were you assigned at birth on your birth certificate? How do you currently describe yourself? Are you authorized to work in the US? And then everything else is filled in. And the only other field to keep in mind that would be new is this application submit date. It's going to default to the date you have this open. So you can update that if you need to. But we'll click save and go to next page. And this will take us to our eligibility check here. And we can see, based on the criteria, workforce hubs, that we are eligible. So we'll click the button to continue to intake. And then this is our application summary page, where we can review what we've entered. If we need to go back and update anything, we can select this return to demographics and contact info update. And this will just take us back to that form of the application, where we can make those changes and click save and return to the summary. And then below this window in the summary page, we have an area where we can sign the application. If I select sign as case manager, I can enter my WorkNet username and password, and that will sign the application. We can also copy the link and email it to the customer, who can then log in with their WorkNet account and sign it with their username and password in this field above. And then the other way we can sign it is if we were to print out this page, have the customer sign it, scan it, and upload it as a file here, and then we can just enter in the signature date. But in this case, we'll do the username and password. So we'll click sign, and we can see the name that's tied to the account that we're logged in with. That will appear here, and then the date will show over here. So we'll click the button, return to intake. And then this is the rest of the intake tab here. for number one, we have a complete application. We've done that. We can view the information we entered for pre-screening here. This view application completed. That's just going to take us back to the application summary page. And then we can see when the application was completed and signed. If at any point, during this intake, if there's, funds that are required to complete intake, we can check the box here and leave a case note. And, if we needed to uncheck it, we could do that as well. But there is a case note prompt, so you can, enter more information about, the use of those funds. In number 2, we have our career assessment. If we click the button to add career assessment, we can see the assessment date. And then we have what is your current or most recent employer status. And we have a few options here. If we select, I've not worked before, this will be my first job. Those employment questions are going to be hidden. We can also select I'm employed, I'm self-employed, employed but received a notice of termination layoff, unemployed and have been actively looking for work, and unemployed but have not been actively looking for work. And if either of these two unemployed options are selected, you can just enter in the information for the most recent job for that applicant. And we'll say this one here, so then we can enter in the hourly wage, the employer name, the start date of employment, and the end date. And then job duties. And then reason for leaving, if applicable. And we have a couple questions here that some jobs have lifting requirements. Please indicate whether you're able to lift this amount of weight. And many of the apprenticeship programs require people to stand for long periods of time. Please indicate whether you're able to stand for long periods of time. And then in these two drop downs for career and secondary career goal, it's the same list, but we can make those two selections here. If we select other construction related, there is a text box that we can fill in there. And then we have a checklist here. Are there specific careers you're interested in pursuing? Select at least one. And we have this broken down by solar and wind, automotive, EV focus, electrical, green building construction, manufacturing clean energy technologies, and then one more here. I'm interested in learning about clean energy careers. So we can click save. See that that has been added to our career assessment section. And if we click this here, it will just show a summary view of the information that we've entered. And we can add another career assessment if we needed to. If we added the wrong one, maybe this is intended for a different customer, we can remove it here. The next assessment is the service needs assessment. So if we click this button, this will take us to the service needs assessment where, earlier we mentioned that CEJA has funds available to help with any challenges they're facing. And this assessment will help us identify any of those challenges. And we have questions for accommodations and student services, technology assistance for virtual learning, transportation, childcare, family member care, assistance with housing, food, healthcare, legal assistance, financial literacy, mentorship, application fees, and other support services. And we'll fill out some of these. We won't go through every question individually, but let's say they need assistance with transportation. So we say, yes, we do have concerns that could affect our participation in the program and that they do not have transportation. And so when we check that box, we get a recommendation. These recommendations and check boxes will vary depending on the questions that we answer, but they follow kind of the same flow that if we select yes, that there is a challenge or need for assistance, we'll get these check boxes here. When we check one of the boxes, we'll see a recommendation in this case. Let's review the local community action agency, which links to website, a web page on DCEO's website, faith-based organizations or American Job Center services. And this links to the Illinois WorkNet Service Finder, where we can look up the American Job Centers and other organizations. So then we've checked that, we've seen the recommendation. We can then check the box for referrals, or if it's and refer to another organization, or if it's something that we can address in-house, we will, under in-house support, check those boxes. So maybe cost of driver's license. And then down here, we have this text box for any additional comments that can be entered here, but it is optional. Let's have a few other ones. So assistance with housing, any financial assistance. Here's our recommendation. And maybe it's relocation. It's something that we can provide in-house support for. Let's fill out these other ones here. Yes, and no. So once we have the service needs assessment filled out, we can click the button to submit, and that will save our service needs assessment. And when we come back to our intake tab, we can see this assessment's been entered here. If we needed to make any changes to it, we can select this. Oops. Actually, we'll select this, the icon off to the right, where we can then make any adjustments as needed. And then we'll click that submit button again to make those changes. But we also have this link here. If we select that, this will just take us to a page where we can see all this information laid out that we've entered for the customer for pre-screening. We have a link to update and go back to that section in the system. So we have pre-screening, we have our application, our career assessment, and the service needs assessment as well. Let's see, and then number 4, customer status, we have applicant or application. If at any point, the customer, any point to what we've covered, they just decided they didn't want to participate in CEJA, we can check this box and the system will update their status to not enrolled, declined to participate. If we needed to, we can also uncheck that in the system and they'll go back to being an applicant. And let's see. And while we have this open for intake off to the left here, you should see this on just about every page you have open for a customer, but we do have a section over here, profile, and we just have the information we've entered for the customer. So we have their email, date of birth, last 4 of the SSN if we entered it, their WorkNet username, phone number, most recent credential that they've earned, but that's covered in the career plan, their customer status, the address, and their unique Illinois WorkNet ID number. And if we needed to change this information, we can select this update profile and make changes to any of the fields that we see here. If we needed to reset their password, if in this case David was having an issue logging into his account, we can reset their password here by entering it and re-entering it and confirming, and click update. And just because it's come up in other help request tickets and other programs, the customer needs to log in with their WorkNet username. Their email address is not going to work. So they have to log in with what is entered in this username field here. And then we have a section for participant summary tools. This is just linking to different instructions that we have in the system. And I'm going to want to make sure we have the most recent version of these. included in this section as well. Let's make a quick note of that. And then down below, or sorry, instructions resources, that's linked right here. Participant summary tools, this will link just to just different sections in the system. A lot of these, I think we can cover maybe on our next call when we go over the career plan. But if there's any documents that are, uploaded for, monitoring purposes that are unique to customers, we can click this uploads, and this is where we can upload documents for that customer. You just have to click upload file. Select the category that makes the best aligns with the file upload. Enter a description for it, and we can choose the file to upload, and it will appear in our list here. Let me see if I can find a quick document here. So we click upload, and then we can see that's been added here, who added it, when, and if we needed to remove it for whatever reason, we can also do that. Then down below, we have just some language here, letting the customer know about their WorkNet account, their career plan, that they have access to it, and a checkbox here letting them know that you've let the customer know about that. See if there's anything else for intake to go over. Don't believe there is. I'm going to take a look in the chat. I thought I saw a question. Okay. Should the service navigator complete the service needs assessment during intake, or should this be completed by the hub once the client is referred and engaged? I believe typically that is the navigator, but I know sometimes there are different workflows with different grantees and navigators, so I would defer to a regional administrator if we have them on here. If there's anything else to share about that, Nate, I see that you're on.
Yeah, I think you got it.
Awesome. Thanks.
Often it's navigators, but just depending on the workflow decided between the grantees.
Awesome. Thank you, Nate. Okay, I don't see any other questions in the chat. Are there any questions anyone has? You can unmute and ask away. If there's anything else in the system you'd like for us to go through or walk over, or walk through or go over, we can cover that as well. Just let us know.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, sure can.
Hi, I'm Alman Mr. Bay, and I work with CDI as a feature hub. I was wondering if there's a separate platform for the financial reporting part, or is it all in this IWRS tool?
There's a couple, I think there's a couple things here. So the service needs assessment, we identified, let me refresh this here. Okay, so we identified in the service needs assessment that, customers would need to, or the customer would need assistance with cost of driver's license or relocation. That's something we can capture in the career plan with a wraparound support service that I can add here and just kind of show how that works. So, once we've added the wraparound service in the career plan, we can enter the costs here. And I'm going through this quickly, just and we'll be covering this in our next call, but we can add this to transportation, cost of driver's license. Because I think there's another part to your question that might be a little more, or that's kind of outside of WorkNet. Okay, so once we can enter, the costs identified in the service needs assessment to the service here, and we refresh this progress page here. We'll see that pull through in here, but I want to make sure I'm not mixing my programs up. But Nate, does CEJA also, are they also using the GRS system?
Yeah, I assume the CEJA grantees are using GRS for like cost reporting and reimbursement, stuff like that. I know very little about that side of the house. Be best if they talk to their grant manager. I'm not sure if Connor is on right now.
I'm here, team. I've got this. It's okay.
Okay.
Yes, David. They use feature programs and grantees use GRS for their financial management, and then they would use the same system for their program management within the reporting system.
So thanks, Simon.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, you bet. Are there any other questions? Well, if not, is there anything the regional administrators would like to share or ask the group?
I don't have anything, David.
Nope, nothing else from me. Oh, I do see a question in the chat.
Yeah, let's see here. We have a customer with status declined to participate. He now knows he did not show up for orientation due to personal reasons. He'd like to participate and be put back on the wait list. How do we do this? He has an existing customer profile. Do we reapply, or a second application is not an option? Right. Yeah, once the application has been submitted, that for that customer, that's just kind of there. But if let's see here. So let's do that. So if we had, so yeah, in this case, if the customer, declined to participate, their status is now, not enrolled, declined to participate. The application's already completed. Yeah, we would be able to.
Yeah, you can just uncheck that box.
Uncheck that. Yeah.
Then they go back to applicant, right?
Yeah. 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 So we just uncheck that box there. Then, in the career plan, we can, update and add the, the
What
services.
box is
that
it? I'm sorry, this is Teresa from the Trep School. We're navigator position. So I think that I don't have navigators don't have access to change customer status. Would that be for the facilitator to do?
Take a quick look here. As I would have thought that they would have access to it, but let's take as a navigator. Okay, so let's look at applicant. Yeah, you should be able to see it under number 4, customer status.
Okay.
Yeah, and so then yeah, if you're seeing this, then we would, we could just come in here and uncheck that box.
And that changes it back to applicant?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, I made that more difficult than it was. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Are there any other questions? Well, if not, we do have an update going out tomorrow night. So the updates that we covered will be in the production environment when you log in Friday morning, and we'll also work on getting the quick start guide videos and instructions updated by the end of the week, and we'll get the recording of today posted to our partner guide page. And if there's nothing else, we can end a little early. And if anything comes up, please reach out, and we'll hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.